Hey guys. So I wanted to talk a little bit about preferences and the difference between attraction and discrimination. We all have our attraction towards certain people. We're not going to pretend that there's not a certain aesthetic that we may gravitate towards more, or we're not going to pretend that we may mostly date this group of people, or we may mostly talk to this group of people. I can say that I mostly talk to black people, but I'm not above talking to other people that appear to be nice and non-racist. But I won't pretend that black people aren't the people that I find myself attracted to the most. However, I'm not someone that's going to say, well, I find this group of people more attractive than the other, and that's just my preference. That's not me. And I understand that there are black men who may have dated mainly white women in the past, or they've mainly dated light-skinned women in the past, but they also like dark-skinned women, or they like brown-skinned women. I'm not saying that it's not possible to have a preference and to also be attracted to other groups of people. But what I have a problem with is when it's clear that people aren't interested in anyone else but the group of people that they claim to prefer, and then when people point it out, they get upset. I don't understand why, when men clearly have a preference for light-skinned women to the point that they don't give anyone else a chance, and it doesn't matter how beautiful or how nice they are, just because they are black or just because they are dark-skinned, they are just a turn off to that person unless they fit their narrow view of beauty. And it's usually if they have loose curls, or if they have long hair, or if they have slender features, and that's when they want to give them passes and then try to gaslight them and say, well, you're not really dark skinned, you're brown skinned, and all this stuff that they do to women like Bernice Burgos. And I just think that it's very odd that men are the main ones defending their preference, but then are clearly bothered by other women's preference when women say simple things like, I like men with beards. And that's not even insulting to men who don't have beards. They are just expressing that they like men with beards. Okay? I like people with cute, crooked teeth. Does that mean I have a problem with people with straight teeth? No. I just think crooked teeth are cute. I like men with curly hair. Does that mean that I don't like men with straight hair? No. I like black men. Does that mean that I don't like anybody else that isn't black? No. I like women. Does that mean that I don't like men? No. So why do men get in their feelings when we express who we like and we're not putting anyone else down? But then when they are putting people down and saying, my girl better be thick, she better be light skinned, she better have long hair, she better have a fat ass, and she better have a flat stomach, and you're clearly putting someone down. You're clearly making stipulations of what your girl has to be in order to be accepted by you. It's not a problem. And then when people complain about it, you get in your feelings. Yet when I simply say that I like men with beards because I think beards are cute, you want to write think pieces on how women discriminate against men with fucking clean shaven faces, even though men with beards have historically been discriminated against because beards have a racist stigma, especially towards brown Muslim men and African men. So I don't understand why some men are upset because we like beards. And you think that it's the same thing as men that prefer white and lighter skin because of white supremacist beauty standards. No one has forced you to like beards. Okay? No one socially pressured you to have beards. So why are you comparing a woman expressing attraction for beards that you can easily grow to a man that's telling someone that you have to be light skinned to be approached by him? How can you even compare that? And then I hear short men complain. And I don't agree that you should put down men because of their height. I'm not someone that's like, my man gotta be 5'8" or my man gotta be 6'2". I'm not like that. But what I don't like is how short men are always complaining about tall women rejecting them and not wanting to date them. And yet I don't ever see these men actually express interest for tall women except when it's to fetishize them, or when it's to climb them like a tree, or when it's clearly to just use them for show. But then they always end up with a woman that's like 3 times smaller than them, because these men be 5'8" and their girlfriends be 5'1", yet they complain when a woman that is the same height as them wants someone taller. I don't understand how men can constantly express interest for a certain group of women and then complain when the other group of women don't want them. You can't have it both ways. You can't say you prefer this group of women but then want to get mad because another group of women don't want you. Like, how are you a short man that don't like women taller than you because of your toxic masculinity getting upset when a tall woman says that she wants a man taller than her? Because a lot of you guys don't actually want tall women. You just don't like rejection. Same thing with light-skinned men that complain about brown and dark-skinned women rejecting them and all of that. You don't actually want brown and dark-skinned women as a collective. You just don't like rejection. You don't like rejection. You think because as men, everybody is supposed to bow down to your feet, that no one can reject you. So when that one woman does, and you think that she's socially beneath you, you have a fit. It's okay to be hurt because somebody rejects you. I understand, because I've been rejected quite a few times before. I understand. But I don't understand how you can constantly talk about other people and about how they look and what your girl should look like, and then when they do the same thing to you, you write think pieces on it, and then you use your rejection to justify men dehumanizing other women because they don't find them fuckable. Well, if you don't date me, then it's okay for us to go around and discriminate against you and to put up signs that say no darky or no black bitches or no nappy headed hoes because you wouldn't date us in the 6th grade. And that's how a lot of light-skinned black men sound when they say things like that. Well, you know, since some of you don't want to date us as light-skinned men, even though we have all of this male privilege and we got all this light-skinned privilege and we are essentially the epitome of beauty along with women, if you don't want us, then it's okay for people to dehumanize you because you got brown skin or you got dark skin. So it's even. And that's what a lot of you guys sound like right now. Well, if you don't want us, then nobody else can have you. Like, are you kidding me right now? And I'm not saying that you should reject people just because they're light skinned when they are perfectly good people, or if they are a good looking person and y'all have everything in common. That's not what I am saying. I am saying that you can't talk about people rejecting you and you're constantly rejecting other people for worse reasons. Oh, your skin is too dark, you're too black, and your hair is nappy and all of that, and your nose is wide and I don't like your features, and ooh, my girl gotta have curly hair and she gotta have a fat ass and she got a flat stomach and she gotta have, you know, all these assets to her. But you know, if you do the same thing to you, then it's toast the same thing, you know. And it's not. You can't compare women setting boundaries of what type of man they want to men simply treating women like shit because they don't find them fuckable. There's a difference between saying I usually date this group of people to I will never date this group of people because they're just not attractive to me. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why people of color may not want to date a white person, and I usually do not hear anything having to do with their looks. I've never heard a person of color say, I just don't find white people attractive. No, usually they don't find the history of white supremacy attractive, and most white people are actively racist as a collective. So I don't want to hear white men complain that a woman of color rejected them for men within their own race. I get messages from white men all the time complaining about how black women like black men with big dicks. As if I should give a fuck. Worry about what your women think. Don't worry about what other black men think of you, or don't worry about what black women think of you, because we shouldn't even be a factor to you. Don't worry about if a dark-skinned woman finds you as a light-skinned man attractive. Worry about light-skinned women who go out of their way to dehumanize dark-skinned black women and emasculating you because you're light-skinned, but you don't want to call your fellow light-skinned women out. You want to take all of that out on dark-skinned women who have done nothing to you. I've sat there and heard light-skinned men sit up and defend light-skinned women and shit on dark-skinned women. I've sat and listened to light-skinned men say they didn't want to date dark-skinned girls because they were burnt. And yet these same light-skinned men get on Twitter, oh, well, these dark-skinned women don't want us because we're too feminine and we're girly, and, you know, they say all of this stuff, but yet they get mad when dark-skinned men say they want a light-skinned girl. Why do you care? Shouldn't you be offended that light-skinned women don't want you and they want dark-skinned men, since you're so colorist and think that you're the best because you're light-skinned? Why are you worried about dark-skinned women not wanting you if you don't even check for dark-skinned women? I don't understand, like, why. And I'm not saying individually light-skinned men aren't attracted to dark-skinned women, or I'm not saying that all dark-skinned men are that way or all light-skinned women are that way. I'm saying, like, as a collective, as a privileged group of people who functions on colorism, y'all don't care about dark-skinned people. So why do you care if they don't want to talk to you? Because I don't really see light-skinned men or light-skinned women who date women go out of their way to talk to dark-skinned films like that. And I'm someone who's considered light-skinned, and even I am someone who it's either they talk to or they're not that interested because they want somebody lighter, somebody less visibly black. And I kind of understand, like, I'm not dark skinned, but I'm also not light enough where I can fully benefit from light skin privilege. So when I experience like some type of mild, I wouldn't say colorism, but when I see how a lighter skinned person is treated versus me, it's loud. I see them get certain leniency that I can't get. And if a woman happens to be darker than me, she's also older. She's also like maybe in her 40s or 50s, and she has seniority over me, and I'm the young black girl. So there's ageism in the factor. But when there is somebody that's the same age as I am and they are darker, I do see the light skin privilege. I do see how they kind of look at that person as aggressive, and they kind of don't mind me because I'm seen as light brown and I have a very soft-spoken voice. So in comparison, I'm seen as like the safe black person, while this person is clearly a threat to them. However, I also am disabled and I'm neurodivergent. So if somebody is able-bodied and neurotypical and they're seen as hard workers, they are also favored over me. So it's an intersectionality where, yes, I have privilege of being a lighter skinned black person, but I'm not light enough where I'm getting like light skin privilege. But I also see how I am treated versus a dark skinned woman. As if she's my age, of course. If we're the same age, then I see it. But it's kind of weird where, yeah, you're disabled and you're young, so you kind of like, yeah, you get the same privileges, but it's just an intersection. And I think a lot of us need to realize that we're not as dark as we think that we are. And a lot of times when we see memes like the Chloe and Haley meme, where she's cast as Ariel in The Little Mermaid, and they make a meme where she's clearly much darker than she actually is. They made her dark skin. And I was just furious because why would you make this girl dark skinned when she's a lighter skinned black person? Like, she's light skinned, basically. She's brown skinned. She's not, I don't think Haley is a light-skinned person. She's like me, where it's like we're regular brown-skinned people, where we are the color that a lot of African Americans are. We aren't an abnormality where we're being singled out for being light. But also Haley's not dark-skinned, so why would you make this girl dark unless you want to dehumanize dark skin and to suggest that dark skin is evil and monstrous and ugly, and it's not. And I kind of was facetious and said they never had blackface and redbone, okay? Well, there is red face, but you know what I meant in that context. So it's just a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit. But like I said, men always complain about preference. They always complain about being rejected by women that aren't even on the same social level as they are. But then they have no problem doing the same thing. Like white men and light-skinned men of color have no problem putting their own women as the standard of beauty, but let a brown-skinned woman reject them. Let a black woman reject them. Let a dark-skinned woman reject them. And it's World War III. And how dare you? And you just don't like me because I'm a cishet white man. And you just don't like light-skinned men because you think men of your own group are more masculine. And you probably just like bigger dick. And I get told that by fucking white men on my damn Tinder profile. Oh, I bet you like black dick. Like the hypersexualization of black women and assuming that we all are just whores who just like BBC, which, I mean, hey, it is what it is with that. But you can't like try to say that it's every black woman and we are mean to white men or light-skinned men because we may not express interest in them. Because like I said, I don't date racists and colorists, and that's something most light-skinned men and white men are. So that kind of throws them out of the ring, out of the competition. But as I say, men come out of the woodwork to talk about how they get rejected by black women, fat women, dick women, dark-skinned women, brown-skinned women, Latinx women, and then y'all don't say anything when people dehumanize and degrade us because it's just preference. And it's always these men who wouldn't talk to you in middle or high school that you express interest for, and they kind of acted as if they didn't care, and they would go for women that were lighter than them or the same color as them because they were light skinned, and they would ignore the brown or dark skinned girls that were interested in them. But then as adult men, you want to come out talking about how no one likes you because you're light skinned or because you're a white man, when I'm pretty sure that there were brown and dark-skinned girls who probably had some self-hatred issues going on, flocking to you because, ooh, girl, he fine and light-skinned, ooh, he got pretty eyes. You know how many times I hear that from girls of all shades about a light-skinned nigga with some green eyes? Well, yeah, y'all having a hard time on Twitter. It seems to me like you guys gotta write a memoir of all the times you got rejected because you light-skinned, okay? You hear some jokes on Twitter and think that's reality. People make jokes all the time. I'm not saying that it's okay to promote toxic ideals of femininity and masculinity. I'm not saying to harm men that are light-skinned and who may be queer, or women who are light-skinned but are gender non-conforming, especially light-skinned masks, because I feel like a lot of these light-skinned jokes, light-skinned nigga jokes, are very harmful to dark-skinned women of all presentations and all sexualities, and light-skinned people who are not straight, who are queer and gender non-conforming. I feel like those are what the jokes harm, and typically it's cishet men that promote these jokes, and it's light-skinned women that think it's funny because they are the ones that are being put as the epitome of black femininity, and they're ending up harming dark-skinned black women and other queer black folks that are light-skinned because of this ideal of, well, light skin equals femininity and light-skinned men are weak, and and there's no such thing as a gay woman that's gender non-conforming and who may be masked, that's a nigga, or that's a bitch. And I see people do that all the time, and that harms people like my cousins who are light-skinned, who are masked, and cishet men that are transphobic mistake them as trans men, and trans men get it as well, or people mistake them as men, but they are feminine, so then they get harmed. And then there are light-skinned men that are queer who are also harmed because you can't fight, and you light-skinned. And honestly, there are light-skinned people who kick their ass, because you gonna try to harm somebody that you think ain't gonna fight back, and bitch, you get curb stomped. Like, that's what I don't understand. Y'all be making these light-skinned niggas or weak jokes until you get curb stomped. Like, you gonna keep making these damn ass jokes until you get a bullet in your head because you want to be funny. And that's not okay. You gotta be careful with these damn light-skinned nigga jokes, because one of these days somebody gonna not fucking care, because somebody gonna be scared of you. They gonna pull out a knife and stab you. And that's happened. There are so many stories where a lot of gay niggas of all colors would stab a nigga because they wanted to be funny and try to harass them. So y'all need to be careful with these damn light-skinned nigga jokes, because you're gonna get hurt one day. And that's all I have to say for now.